Welcome back to Hacker Hangouts on a Saturday morning after being gone. And I have a new nose. Does it look fancy? It
Ooh.
probably
Uh,
looks the exact same.
That looks like a nose.
It looks like a nose. So I had nose surgery like 2 weeks ago, actually less than 2 weeks ago. So I'm super nasally, as you can tell. It's a little bit of a turn on for Gowrie, I know. But that and the Muppet voice, those are the two ones. Kermit falls in there too. But I'm back. And yeah, exactly. So
Welcome back, bud.
yeah, back. So like if I'm struggling, but I wanted to see you. And it was funny because it was like 3 weeks ago, we had this exact stream scheduled. And then either we got sick or this, and then loops fell off at the last second. So it wasn't gonna be all five of us. And it was funny. We talked about topic and we said, what are we going to talk about? And then we realized like, I don't care because I want to hang out with you guys and I miss you and I want to catch up. But I also want to talk about like, we've been doing this stream a long time, like a while at this point. And it has changed from, I want a shameless excuse to hang out with people I love and adore and want to hear what they're doing. Talk about DEF CON and stories and urinal cakes. And then we got like, we went professional. We started, I believe I started treating it as a business and I'm like, let's pick the trending topic. And I lost a little bit of what I wanted to do. And every week became this, what is the topic? What are we going to talk about? And now I wanted a stream where we could just come together. We could talk, we could hang out and do what we really wanted to accomplish on the stream, which is catch up, talk about things that interest us, talk about DEF CON and some of those changes, what recent topics there are, and then some of, let's say, the movement in the industry. And I think the start, though, is we've been doing this for a long time. So when I called you the first time and said, hey, we're gonna do a live stream, having no idea what we were doing, what was your initial thought? Was it like, this is something I could get behind?
I asked if I had to be clothed.
Who wants to go first? We'll throw it that way.
Gulo.
Yeah, there was the whole, is clothing required, optional, or not supposed to be there at all conversation that I seem to remember.
There was that. I actually said, should we do this as a video or audio podcast? And then I was like, but video is so much cooler because I get to see your hat. It's a beautiful thing. What about you, Gator? Like, what was your thoughts originally? Where like you were probably pumped because you had been doing it for a long time at that point.
Been doing it for a little bit with the Hacker Hang, or not for, we started the Hacker Hangouts a couple years ago at this point, but then been working with like digital to go through and do the Hull on Network podcast, which was the cybersecurity news, but not getting just to hang out with a social hour. So it's kind of a pseudo hackerspace meetup, DEF CON meetup. Just, it was good to be able to see people and talk about different subjects about what we were into that week, which was a lot of fun. So I was pumped to be able to see more of your guys' lovely faces and interact with our community.
What about you, Gary?
I don't really think. I just do. I was like, yeah, we're gonna do this thing, and I went, oh, okay, we're doing that thing now, I guess. And I just bumble my way through life, more or less. So
I mean,
I know you want it to be something special, but I'm sorry, I just no special meaning for me. You're all meaningless. No, I'm joking. Of course, I love hanging out with you guys.
I mean, it's funny though, like I think the struggle early on wasn't actually coming up with topics like, oh, what are we going to talk about? It was like we had this overwhelming sense of topics. And somewhere along the lines we had to like figure out, okay, how can we make it less like, chasing butterflies? I don't know. There's probably herding cats. There we go. How do we make it less going from topic to topic and make it a little bit more structured? So we had this idea of like, let's pick a topic and let's talk about that. But the problem then became we all have like really diverse backgrounds. So like trying to find like a topic which all overlapped with. Gator?
I was going to say, one of the other things that this stream ended up making me do was starting to eat hot wings of varying hot sauces.
Oh, yeah.
Who are literally, my wife and kids and I every Saturday are now having chicken nuggets, going through all of the hot one stuff to ramp up for that Hacker Hot Wings part 2. Just saying.
That was a ton of fun.
So
And
I think like the evolution of this was just like, let's hang out, we'll come up with some topics, we'll talk about things, we'll just be our personalities or whatever it is. And then like what Silk said is we started to try, and I think topics got in the way, so, to a certain point, because we started wanting to, like, the last couple that we did were kind of like the Hacker News, right? Where we took the most interesting things and we just put our spin on it and had some fun with it and all those things. But it turns boring after a while because we're not newscasters, right?
well,
Like,
I think it turns boring, but also like, we talked about imposter syndrome, and I actually like that as a topic. It's something we've talked about, but like, it's like something I struggle on. There's many reasons I haven't posted to the main channel in a while, which I'm coming back. It's going to be a beautiful thing. But like on this one, it's hard for me to pick up a topic of, especially when it's like a cybersecurity, like maybe even something which is a little outside my niche, and talk about, because you go like, there, we don't have a big following, and that's not. I love the people watching, all of that. It's not belittling it or anything, but it's like you're not talking to hundreds and thousands of people, and yet you still have that feeling of like everyone is looking, that spotlight feeling of like everyone is looking at me and I can't misspeak on this topic, and I'm not an expert on this topic. And I think that's one thing that's been really helpful with the stream, is realizing like I am talking with some of the smartest people I know, and yet every one of us acknowledges like I have no idea what I'm talking about most of the time.
we're all sitting there like, I am a child. Don't listen to me. But if you're going to listen to me,
I think it's probably one of my favorites. Gator, what were your thoughts?
Going through and just when we're talking about that, we may not be experts in something, though. We've all got our different areas of expertise, and what we're just trying to go through and share is our own opinion, right? Because since we're not an expert in XYZ, this is the way that we perceive things, which I think still goes through and adds value. Because there are many conversations that we've had on this conversation where y'all have given me a different point of view than my point of view coming into a given subject, right?
so this is actually an interesting question, and it's kind of a circular like, this is going to be a little ironic. Sometimes our discussions of things turns philosophical, and I realize how ironic this is, where I'm basically saying like, let's talk about the philosophy of these discussions turning philosophical. Where it's just like, yes, this thing happened. Is that a good thing or a bad thing, right? And we've derived a lot of interest out of that, like the government's suing or like criminalizing negligent cybersecurity professionals, right? We're like, should they do this? Should they not do this? And we're both like, we're all pretty much like, I don't want to get thrown in jail, so no.
Yeah, I think that's the funny thing though with it. With then I'll go to Gulo. In Gulo, you have to raise your hand, and then I can see what you're doing. All right, Gulo.
Stupid interface. So Gator, if we've given you different perspectives on things and shown you different things, how many times have we actually changed your mind, or are you stubborn like the rest of us?
Jaded or stubborn are two totally different things there. So I will say there have been many situations. Now, when it comes to open source ideology, I'm stable in that. On some of the other subjects that we've gone through and talked about, yes, you've helped go through and give me a new perspective, which have changed my view. So not on everything, but on some things, yes, I'm not completely bullheaded.
I think the better question is, what have we corrupted you on?
I
think some of the more recent news ones that have been kind of interesting is like ChatGPT is one. I think there's a lot of discussions we're having around that. I think the legality of whether or not you can be held accountable for hacking, we'll say, whether on the breaking side or on the negligent blue team side, we'll say, like those are fascinating. And I kind of go back and forth on whether or not, because like you look at GDPR. You could argue right now, and I'll bring us down this rabbit hole, is you could argue the fact that, the EU has this. The United States has nothing. Like, I would actually argue that for the United States, we have remarkably, I would say, few, if any, privacy requirements. Like, there are some. It's not that there's none. There's like the right to be forgotten, but those are like California specific and things like that. But I think these are interesting discussions that we've had of like, at what point do we go, ooh, government, please, government, we want more regulation. We want you to step in versus like government, like don't be involved in this. Like it's not, you are a you are a hackless techno weenie. Don't try and understand technology. And I think that's been a fun discussion.
Well,
for
and-
sure. Go ahead, Gulo.
I haven't raised my hand.
Yeah,
There
I
you
see
go,
it.
Gulo.
So, as far as the government goes and the regulation, I think the big issue is some of us want regulation, but we want them to regulate things that are important and not random crap that they decide that they're going to regulate that helps no one or nothing other than the corporations for more information.
It's like end-to-end encryption, right? Where like they try to go regulate end-to-end encryption, and every mathematician on Earth is like, you can't regulate math, dude. Right? Like you guys are what was the phrase Silk used? Hapless techno weenies.
Hackless techno weenie. So the word it's a quote from Hackers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hackless
yeah.
techno
Now,
weenie.
along with that, going through and making sure that we are not ushering in Cyberpunk 2077 with the major corporations owning everything and manipulating everybody's lives. So it's like, hey, I like playing my video games because I can disconnect from reality. Let's not drive that as the manual for here's how to go do it.
Gowry's
I
about
got
to
bad
say the
news.
same thing,
Yeah,
which
I got
went through
bad
my
news
head.
for you, buddy. We're already here. It's just that like the future is not going to be as cool as Cyberpunk. It's just going to be very boring.
We got to start working on our aesthetic and get the street kid view going on then. So let's start bringing that to DEF CON.
Oh goodness! You know, that is a topic I want to dive into a little bit. Is DEF CON. I will say though, right before I jump into DEF CON, for anyone who is going where Gulo just complained about the interface, I went down like a path which was like I like the me and Gowry where we can go back and forth at a specific topic. My gosh, the nasally voice is just like it's turning myself on. That's what the nasaliness is great. Is I'm hoping it's as good for you. But I love going back and forth. But one of the biggest things is I wanted the ability to have more and more people on here. And like today was going to be the pinnacle with Loops on here too. But you know what? We'll do another one. And I had this idea was like, we need something to help govern this. And I'm going to share out my screen. This is Hacker Herder, which I might open source at one point. I want to clean it up. I want to do a little bit more here. I can zoom in so we can see it. But it was like this little interface I created, which is like a shared notification. And then people can, thank you, everyone. And you can kind of say check comments. You can raise your hand. And it makes it so we can organize things a little bit better. I love you guys. I'm just hearing it. I don't have any audio cues, which I probably should have. My last spin back to DEF CON because that's like one of those core topics we talked about a lot, which is near and dear, I think, to all of our hearts. I'm looking forward to this year, and it's evolved. Like we went from like, oh, hey, this concept of I did a urinal quake video and your guys' exploits, and then it was let's do some video, and then it was like last year, me and Gowry running around like crazy people, getting 49 videos out in 4 days, which was just
never again.
Never again. But one of the things I wanted to talk about this year is like, it feels like it's changing and it's interesting. I almost want to do a video. It's like, is DEF CON selling out? Because they have this whole idea of exhibits now and things like that, which was originally a Black Hat thing. Yeah. So they did an announcement and they're going to do exhibits. Now I actually have a really weird, strong opinion on this, which I think might be counter to most people on it, but they're doing an idea of exhibits. So if you were, I don't know, Red Eye or Fire Eye, not Red Eye, Fire Eye. So many, you make up a name, there's a security company for it, but like Fire Eye, say they wanted an exhibit that they could like present, which they could set up, they could recruit people, they could show like, here's our latest firewall technology, our latest like incident response or Mandiant. If they wanted to spin up a vendor booth, we'll say, but not sell anything, thank you for the image. Let's see if I can just flick it up on the screen. Here we go. This is what I was just shared. Yes.
DEF CON has announced that they are bringing exhibit in. Yo, dog.
But yeah, so they now these places can exist. There's going to be a room dedicated to it. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
How is that
You're
different
all
than villages?
Well, it's
So-
because I will say the reason it's going to be different is because villages usually have a purpose, like lockpicking, wireless, whatever it is. Where this is like, we are FireEye. Here is what FireEye does.
Oh.
Here is our product. Here is our exhibit demonstrating our product. There's nothing to
I-
buy. There's nothing to do. It's a vendor
Gator, go
being
for
able to
it.
show their products.
To me, it's a target.
What do you mean?
I mean,
It's a target.
now you have a section where you're like, hey, we're the best security, whatever in the industry. We've set up a booth at a hacker conference. Bring it.
I
it's
would
been that
disagree.
way forever.
Yeah, I
So,
disagree
I mean-
with that one.
Years ago, we had this in the vendor area. So, like, how many times did the NSA come in and they were just doing hiring and letting themselves be known around the hacker community, right? So, this is not too far outside of what we've had in the past. It's been a few years because, Edward Snowden kind of blew up a couple things there, and then the community. Yeah. So, it's not like we haven't done this before, but having a dedicated area for this long term is going to be interesting.
Like there was things like University of Advancing Technology, UAT. They didn't sell anything. They weren't a vendor, but they wanted to advertise their university because they had advanced technology degrees, network security, and I think web application security. They had some cool degrees which were actually accredited by the NSA and things like that, which was pretty freaking cool. I love the idea. I honestly, personally, I love the idea of this. I had a couple people message me right when it happened, and they're like, "Hey, this is like they're going corporate, they're going black hat." And it was like a vendor who was actually telling me this. I'm like, honestly, I go, "This is freaking cool," because like you don't. If I was a vendor at DEF CON, I don't want to share my space with these people who aren't selling things, who are just pulling in people who are just meandering around. But also, I look at it this way: it's like it is very difficult. Like when I was working at General Electric, they go, "Hey, we want you to try and hire new people for the team at DEF CON." And it's
Nah.
freaking
Good luck.
impossible. Yeah, it's like you can't meet people. No one's interested.
Also,
Where
I like this-
exhibits
this is
might
the-
give a space for this.
this is why it feels wrong, right? Because traditionally, DEF CON, the idea of going to DEF CON to hire people is like anathema to what DEF CON is. To some extent, DEF CON's a giant frickin' party, right? Like it is a celebration of hacker culture, everything it entails. It's counterculture. It's all of those things. And now when you bring in the like, oh, we're gonna try and make up some corner of it a job fair, it feels not quite like it's selling out, but that DEF CON is leaving its roots, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it is different in that sense. So like I can kind of get the uneasiness with it.
One thing with
I'm trying to sneeze and hand it to Gulo at the same time. Gulo.
I don't think I want you to hand me that. Thank you very much. As far as it goes with having like job fairs or UAT in the vendor area, in my mind, it's better to have them where you're going to generate more and more traffic. So coming from doing large events like E3 and building booths and stuff, being close to some of the big boys means that I have far more foot traffic to my area and I can flag people down. By moving those people out to another section of the con, you're going to have the, yes, this is the specific thing that I'm looking for, but you may not have the random, ooh, that looks cool. Let me go see what you're about.
Yeah. So where is the announcement on this? I can't find anything about this.
I just posted it not only to our chat, but then also to our internal mod channel as well, for what it's worth. So DEFCON dash 31.
Yeah, Gator, what was your thoughts? And then I want to jump in.
Again, my thought process from this is that it's not too far outside of what we've had in the past, versus them blending it with the folks that are going through and typically selling things. So it's when you were talking about making it a job fair, it doesn't sound like it's a job fair to me at this point, but people have always been hiring at DEF CON. It depends on who you're hanging out with, who you're talking with, because there's hiring going on all the time. So I don't know. I'll hand that off to Silk, who was next.
Yeah, like my thought is like at DEF CON, DEF CON's huge. Like it is huge at this point. It's big. It's massive. Just tell me when to stop. All right. It's and one of the biggest problems with it right now is that there's too much to see. You can't see it all. And I don't know if that's necessarily a problem, but something we've talked about out before is like your goal is to find your tribe. There are tribes to be had at DEF CON, regardless of what it is. And it doesn't necessarily need to be technology. If you want to do advanced basket weaving, I am sure there is advanced knitting and everything at DEF CON. It's great. Yeah, Gulo probably started it. And I think what's so cool about that, though, is like this is another spot where you can communicate. I also know when I was at General Electric, there was times where you wanted to go talk to one of your vendors. And if you tried to do it at DEF CON, there was freaking no way to do it. It was like, okay, come to this hotel. Okay. It was like a back alley deal.
Yeah.
Come to this hotel, go behind it, do a secret handshake, give me a little on the back end. And then all of a sudden, like we're now talking and whatnot. It's weird. We're here now. I go, okay, go to the vendor booth at this time. I'll be available. So I kind of like that too. It organizes it a little bit.
Well, I'll say two things. One, I think the days of people being secretive at DEF CON are kind of, they're over. It's too big, right? Like the whole idea of, I'm not going to, like people leaving their personal phones at home and things like that. Like there's 30,000 people showing up, man. Like the threat models are completely different today than they were 20 years ago. So that's part of that. And I think people just got to kind of get over that hump, and exhibitors, if you will, or businesses that treat it that way need to get over that and just treat it like any other conference to that extent. I think maybe the reason why it sits a little weird with me in terms of exhibitors and reading the actual announcement on the page. I think of it like the Black Hat exhibitors area or other conference exhibitor areas that I have been to. And the way those work is you walk up with your badge and they scan your badge so they get your info. Obviously, DEF CON's not doing that. They say that very explicitly. DEF CON doesn't share anything. They don't collect your info when you register. They don't do any of those things. So they're not going to be giving your info out to these exhibitors. But I've been to every other conference in the world where they do that. They just scan your name badge and they get your info. And I think part of that is like it's a little weird to bring a piece of that into DEF CON, even if it was already kind of there, but leaving, the privacy to some extent in place. So like I can definitely see a bunch of vendors saying like, hey, I want to get these contacts. And I can definitely see a bunch of companies trying to get booths in these areas with the expectation that they're going to have some amount of data collection available. And so like it sits a little uncomfortable with me. And to some extent, like what Gulo said, if you shove all these people in one corner, I'll bet like part of me thinks the exhibitor area would be empty if not for the fact that there isn't enough space for everyone all the time. So it'll get people just by nature of them not having, not wanting to stand in a 2-hour line. So I don't think that room is going to be very exciting, right? Let me put it to you this way. Most exhibitors up until now have brought one of two things. They've either brought a booth in the vendor area where they're offering something, or they've brought a contest that you can interact with. And that's the way most people have interacted with DEF CON as a business. I don't know what an exhibitor area looks like other than come check out my latest firewall that I've built.
I think those ones are going to fail miserably. Like, I actually think I think the ones that are like the ideal for an exhibit are things like we'll say Aerospace Village before it was a village, before it was Hackasat, when they just wanted to kind of show off some of the stuff they're doing just to get some excitement about it. I think UAT would be a big one. Is like, here's the university, here's what we stand for. It gives them a space to do it. I want to talk about a comment though. It says, "Oh, please stop with the tribe stuff. If you were new to DEF CON, it's too big to find one." It took me a very long time to find my tribe, I would say, at DEF CON. First 2-3 years, all I did was do the talks. I went to the Sky. This was back at the Riviera. There was the Sky Talks. I was staying at Circus, which was just a freaking magical hotel. But I found a Sky Talk. Actually, went through the Hardware Hacking Village where Bunny showed me. On the other side of the Hardware Hacking Village, there was like the overhang over track 1. And I sat there all day on my computer with power and everything, and I watched talk after talk after talk. Did find my tribe that year. Second year, kind of did the talks. And then it was like the third year I started going, I'm going to go to the contest area. And then I never, ever left, really. I found my people. And I think it takes years, and it takes time, and it takes time to find what you like. I don't know.
I'm going to hand it to Gator, though. Go, Gator, what you got?
So I'm going to echo what Silk just went through and said as well. I didn't go to DEF CON for years because I didn't think I was elite enough to go in. And I gatekept myself, unfortunately. I had the same issue where I didn't find my tribe for a little while, to where I was wondrously just trying to get as many talks as I could in going to DEF CON. And then I realized that I'm there to go interact with people. And as soon as I changed that, since the talks are recorded, you can watch them online afterwards. I picked 1 or 2 talks that I would go through and use for work literally the week after DEF CON. But I would go through and start getting involved with the things that were going on live, whether it was a contest that was going on. Hanging out in the Hacker Hardware village was amazing because it was something so far outside of what I was comfortable with. Asking somebody for help because I wanted to be able to do something with the badge. And I remember, in fact, a call out to Egypt, and I think it's been forever since we've talked, but there was Egypt, and then there was Sequel 7 special name call out that welcomed me to DEF CON. We were just literally in line and just talking about, hey, where are you from? What are you doing? And you've got to get outside of your bubble a little bit. And for me, during that time from as well, it was very much I don't know what I'm doing here. What's my cover story? How am I interacting?
Which I will throw out there is remarkably difficult to do. Like to just go to DEF CON and be like, I'm going to go make friends is very difficult. Yeah. Like easy in some ways, but also remarkably difficult too. Yari?
No, so, when you say that, stop at the tribe stuff, it's too big or there's too many people, it's actually the fact that there are so many people makes it quite a bit easier to. It's like speed dating. If you go engage in one of the contests, if you don't like it, you don't like the people, move on to the next contest. Maybe you're not a Team Fortress or Hack Fortress kind of person. Maybe you're a ICS industrial control system hack type guy. And like you go to these different contests, you go to these different areas like the car hacking village, the aerospace village. It's not just about finding people that work or are interested in the same technologies as you. You may find people in the aerospace village that are, poking at the plane thing or whatever, that are doing something entirely orthogonal to what you're doing within the same space. So you have some modicum of commonality between you, but then you huddle together over this, presented problem on the show floor, and it's good. So and this is the reason why we say go find your tribe is, Gulo said I prefer making my own or a hostile takeover of others. That tends to be what actually happens. It's not like the 4 of us on this stream, right? We met each other through DEF CON Darknet. It's not like we all showed up and said, this is my tribe now. No, there was a lot of pain and urinal cake gassings and a bunch of events that we had to go through before we all decided, oh shit, are we friends? Like that, when did this happen? Right.
I mean that's a strong word. No, just kidding.
It's
it's like we're friends.
Look, I mean, Gulo, I've seen you naked, and I don't see people naked that I'm not friends with, so
He says, as I know you had tickets to Thunder from Down Under, which just amazes me. Like that was one of my favorite highlights. And so at DEF CON, I don't know why I found this freaking hilarious. Is you'd go into a crowded elevator, it's going up, and then completely calm, you'd go like, hey Bunny, do you have our tickets for Thunder from Down Under? Is that today or tomorrow? And it was to play the uncomfortable game just to see how many people were like look out of the corner of your eye. And I tried doing this with you in the elevator, and I'm like, is Thunder from Down Under like tomorrow? Do you already have tickets? And without skipping a beat, he goes, no, that's Thursday we're doing that. And it was like, wow, that was he picked up on that without even cracking a smile to realize you actually had tickets for the event. Yeah.
Dude,
amazing.
you kidding me? Thunder from dude, I'm talking legit here. Thunder from Down Under is actually a good show. It was fun.
Amazing.
It was really fun. You gotta go with your women friends, obviously, but like it's a little weird if you just show up by yourself. Not speaking from experience, but it's a good time.
Perfectly fine.
It's a good time.
I have one question before I hand it out to
recommend.
Gator. Did you wear a kilt to Thunder
Yeah.
from Down Under?
I have a picture of me on stage with the guys.
I appreciate that. I just want you to know I appreciate that. All right, Gator.
So I'm loving the interaction that we're getting from the community as well, talking in chat on finding their tribes, not finding their tribes. This is also very similar to when we're going through and just trying to do it in our own local areas, right? We're trying to jump online and talk with each other because we don't get to see each other more than once a year at DEF CON, right?
Yeah.
So it's very much trying to be able to build your social group. It's not an easy thing, but it's totally worth it, in my opinion.
Do you find, though, I have a question, which is, do you find that you have friends and then you have DEF CON friends? Like Melissa and I met, that's my wife, we met up at a camp. Freaking love the camp. We both grew up. There was like there was boys and girls camp and family camp and all of this. And we grew up there. And that's where we met. And it was great. And then you have friends, and then you have camp friends. I have friends, and then I have DEF CON friends. And I will say, DEF CON friends are like the best friends because they see that side of you. But that's been one of the coolest highlights of the stream, is that like my DEF CON friends are now turning into like these like normal friends, these weekly friends I get to hang out with, and I freaking dig it.
I like to think of myself as a strongly friend. Thank you.
A strongly friend. So like that's kind of like one of the fun things with the stream, is that we've gotten to interact outside of that, and what's also kind of weird is DEF CON friends, you get that face for like 4 days of like you can I don't want to say fake it for 4 days, but like you can be happy for 4 days. You can put a happy face on at DEF CON, where it's been cool doing week after week after week, because you start getting the nuance of everyone's personality, of knowing, like, you start realizing like this person's having a rough day. They're having a stressful day. Let's talk about it. Like, this person's freaking out by like everyone being late for the stream. I don't know who that person is, but it's one of us.
It's kind of like when you're all sitting around together in a circle, closing the zipper on the 1500th badge kit that you put together, and one person in the room goes, "Oh shit." Right? That's the moment where you learn a lot about each other.
It really is true. That one was probably honestly, that's one of my favorite memories. Like, is those times you go through stressful situations with each other, because whether it's true colors or whatever you want to call it, like, in those most stressful situations, it's just like, okay, cool, let's dive in. Like, I still remember like the meal me and you had, because me and you were zipping the bags and everything. Me and you were like, freaking, we're not leaving till this is done. Other people like go and whatnot. We're not leaving till it's done. And then someone brought us burgers, and I think it was Command Code who went out, or he at least paid for it. I know it was a burger I did not pay for, and it was the sweetest, wonderful burger. It was cold. It was dry. It totally didn't matter, though. It was the best burger I had had, because I had not eaten for like ever.
Well, because it was it was you two on that side of the table, and it was Command Code and myself on this side of the table, to where I think it was Bunny or somebody else who had gone through and got the burgers, because we were there. We literally had that last zip, putting the last components in. And Cowrie's like, "Oh no!"
Fuck.
And the whole room just went quiet.
Oh,
And
gosh,
what?
magical.
There was a bug.
Gulo, wasn't that the year that we did the urinal cake? Because didn't we end up not needing the update at all, and everything went, like, for the first time ever with the badge, it went smoothly, and then we were both like, well, fuck, we don't have anything to do, let's go make a urinal cake badge.
That was the year I was Barbara, and
Yeah.
that was the year we did the urinal cake.
Yeah, we didn't.
good shit.
It was hilarious. We did not need the update that year at all, which was kind of awesome. So let's spin this back though. Let's talk about where's the channel going? Like, because we've done the Hangout, we've done. What was that?
Flaming bus off a cliff.
And that's the funny part.
There's a parachute. Don't worry.
Is
The
like,
parachute's on fire.
where we going now is we have topics. We've done the topic thing. And the question is, do you continue to reach into a bag of topics? Do you pull one out like, oh, Chat GPT replacing hackers? I don't know, whatever it is. And you pull the trending topic. Do you go after like, oh, like kind of like we were doing, like VR and that, and go off a topic? But you see more and more my podcasts is going April 15th, 2023, April 21st, 2023. And that's what they title them, which I think there's probably a balance to be had, but I don't know what that balance is. Where do you go from here?
Well, I think it's either maybe I wasn't sure if Gula had something, but either we pick a topic or we just don't and we hang out. You know, the initial intent of the thing. I still want to do the VR stream. We got to talk about Gulo's stuff.
So
or AR.
Okay, yeah, I gotta figure out what the VR stuff is, but I'm all about the nuns in a fiery bus off a cliff, or do we just ride off into the sunset?
You can ride off into the sunset. I'm not giving this up. I like doing this.
I'm not letting it down. I'm not turning it around. I'm not going to hurt you.
Exactly.
Maybe we go a month where Gulo hosts the stream instead of you, and he's in charge.
You know what? I've said this before. If you go for it, and I kind of say you want to get a thumbnail set up. You want to herd the cats. Go for it. But I think I will say some part of you enjoys just showing up. I will say I always expected Gulo to be the one who was late for stream. Who was like joining 5 minutes. He's like the first one there. Like, you all measure up to Gulo in some way. But he gets here first. He talks, which is remarkably responsible. But the kicker is like he wants to do the thumbnail. He wants to organize it. He wants to run the thing. Go for it. I'll take the day off. It'll be great. I think that's one of the things that's just been. Oh, go on.
I nominate everyone but me to do that.
So, showing up for the stream is actually kind of interesting because for the longest time when we first started, Silk was always complaining. He's like, Gulo's always the late one. He's always showing up late. And I'm like, I'm sitting right here. And Gator's the one that's messaging, I'm eating pancakes with my family. I'll be there.
No, hold on. No.
Dude, 100%. Gator was the late one.
Gator was never the late one. He always was there, but he always had reinstalled Linux, set up a new camera, hooked up a new light.
Okay, so I will say
installed a new open source software. Go on.
Absolutely, right? Somebody's got to do it because y'all are running on Mac and Windows and everything else, right? No, I'm kidding. I will absolutely take responsibility for that because you don't want to stress out other people who are doing this, right? And for me, I like to tinker, man. And that's a problem because sometimes, hey, it's literally working fine the night before. It's set up, ready to go. Like, when I got my Framework laptop, man, I was so pumped. One cable to plug everything in. And then, all of a sudden, halfway through the stream, the video would just start cutting out. And then you're like, what the hell, Gator? What's going on? I upgraded to the 11th or the 12th gen. But I had gotten so gun shy because of that, because it was dropping out for some random reason. Come to find out, firmware in the freaking motherboard was wrong. So that's a whole bug in and of itself. So I said, okay, we're switching to a dedicated setup to where I can literally walk up, click on a Mac Mini. Everything's fine. It's working. I will say, as of today, I have switched everything back over to the Framework laptop running Fedora. We've had no issues, and I've been running that as my standard setup for a while now to where it hasn't been an issue, which is great. But if you are going to be able to stream, make sure it's stable so you don't stress other people out because I'm sorry, so didn't mean to stress you out, buddy.
No, you're not. You're not sorry.
I think one of the funniest ones to me is like, remarkably, when we look at back on the streams, last week or 2 weeks ago, because last week I was off for surgery. 2 weeks ago, it was canceled, not because of anyone's screw up. It was practical. I had a power outage. I'm getting a generator, by the way. I'm totally getting a whole house generator. I'm going to tell people it's because of the stream. It's totally not. I just need a whole house generator. But
business right off.
Is like, we have that. But week after week, it never ceases to amaze me, though, how many redundant systems we all have in place. Because we've had Gowry's internet down halfway through, and he switched over to Tether. My internet has gone halfway through out, and then I can switch over to Tether. And it is kind of amazing. Outside of one power outage, it's pretty amazing that it's been consistent and there is enough redundancy built in. I think the only other one we had of like a massive issue, like probably the biggest issue, was nothing to do with us. It was when we did the War Games reaction stream live
Oh yeah,
in the stream. And remember, we were going through
play with me,
Restream,
baby.
which went to Twitch and YouTube at the same time. And Twitch didn't care. They're like, copyright all you want. And then YouTube kept bringing it down and bringing it up. And I didn't see, since we were going through Restream, I didn't see it on my end. To find out, like when I went back to the channel, like after the stream closed, like I had a copyright strike and takedown, and because Restream just kept trying to play it. And YouTube would have warned me, but since it went through Restream, I didn't see it. So I get to fight my first copyright ID strike and all of that. And they all got reversed and whatnot. And after like, I tried editing and re-editing it, repushing it and everything like that. Finally, I just ended up fighting it and it went through and now it's on the channel.
And that was the day Silk became a criminal.
I remember that battle because you kept messaging us. You're like, do we care? Was this a really good stream? Do we really care if this needs to be up? I think I'm going to fight this for the principle of things. I don't want to get kicked off of YouTube. Hey, what do you guys think? I think I'm going to do this. No, never mind. It's not worth it.
This is exactly how it went.
It totally was.
I'm pretty sure all of us were like, I had fun.
But like the kicker was just like, you're right, I had fun. But like it was so much work. And it was so much work on Gator's end because he gave me all the clips that I could put up. Like it was there is a reason people do not do reactionary streams live. We did it in a way where it was 4 people reacting to it, clips back and forth, the audio, like it amazingly went really well, with the exception of the takedown. But I took it as a personal initiative. But like the thing which is so frustrating at it was, my gosh, they treat you like a criminal when you want to fight this thing. Because like I looked up, I love doing the research, but like, ultimately it was plain and clear fair use. So I'm like, I go ahead, I disputed it, and immediately got a rejection. So the only way I could go after it is to risk a strike on the channel. But they have you like sign it in legalese and give your home address and give a phone number and give contact information and then sign it under penalty of perjury. And you have to do all of this. And it's like, this feels like plain and simple. And then even afterwards, like they ended up accepting it there. They could have rejected that. And then I have to effectively like countersue them to say, no, put it back up. And it's like, it's just like, all I want to do is react to this crappy movie. Why are you even defending this movie? This is a horrible movie.
The YouTube system. I mean, that's not a good argument. I mean, that's like why are you even defending your right to open source shitty code? It's shitty code. No, right? But the YouTube system is horrible, and I hate to bring up Linus Tech Tips, but did you guys see his channel got hacked and like they deleted like a massive backlog of his things, and there's functionally like no good way for YouTube to resolve those things. Like YouTube still has massive issues with these things.
Look,
man, I got like years ago, I released good luck finding this, but like I released a short film with my old acting company that I had edited, I helped shoot. I don't think I was in it. I was the assistant director or whatever. And I put it up online, and I had used explicitly public domain, like audio open files. And I got an automated claim against that for copyrighted audio. I wrote all the music, right? Like I wrote and played all the music in that thing, and somebody copyright claimed my stuff, and like there's no basis for it, and it had to be like an automatic thing. And so there's just like copyright trolls out there that are just seeing what stuff they can get. YouTube's system is not great. I'm guessing it's the best they can do, but it still sucks.
Like, I want to talk about the Linus Tech Tips. Gator, I'll let you go first, and then I'll jump in.
I was going to say, so are you saying that because Linus Tech Tips is one of the largest channels out there, and I love the conversation that this is bringing up to where, okay, well, did you have two-factor authentication? Oh, this is actually a targeted attack because it was either a poisoned zip file or poisoned PDF file that looked like a sponsorship, so it looked within normal. And are you saying that the industry is still broken and that we all still have jobs because nothing is ever secure?
No, like
The real question is whether ChatGPT launched that attack.
I think like the piece of this, which it was a session hijacking. That's what it was. They came out. They already said that. They had two-factor. They had all that. They logged in. Someone hacked a local system with a phishing attack, or they clicked on something you shouldn't have. It grabbed the sessions in the browser. But like this is the one which baffles me. Google owns the search engine, the email, the account, all the IAM stuff. They use the exact IAM, identity access management, for YouTube. They have all of this. On top of that, if you own a Google Workspace account or whatever they call it now, they changed the name of it so many times. Mm-hmm. If you own it, you can do geosecurity, which says if I am in Michigan and someone logs in California, shoot a flag. That stuff is not available for a YouTube channel. That is baffling to me. Like we're talking about, and I think this comes back down to it. I'll wager the question. I think we've asked this before. Do you remember? Do you know? I didn't know this until I actually looked it up. What YouTube was originally, like what its original purpose was?
Porn?
Cat videos.
It was a dating website. Yeah. YouTube originally was a dating website.
Right.
So, and I feel like that's still like carryover from back then. Like they never thought like someone runs a business. Linus Tech Tips runs a business. Like this is like there's business attached training and sales and t-shirts and all of that. But the YouTube channel alone can sustain a business. Like I look at like Ali Abdal and whatnot, like any of those who does like productivity stuff and whatnot. He's like a 14-person team, which is just his YouTube channel. He doesn't really have all the trainings and stuff like that. These are full-blown businesses, and businesses by regular, like if you're going to follow NIST or ISO or whatever these things, require you have this type of account security, which means if they're a business, they need to follow this regulation because of the content or other pieces of their business. They can't actually adhere to it. YouTube doesn't have the tools available. And that is amazing to me that the platform hasn't moved to the point where you can do these, let's say, fundamental security requirements on your accounts. It's frustrating.
It's not amazing to me at all. Like not even slightly. Like I'm a total pessimist with it. Like I'm so glad I'm out of the security industry now.
The other thing I'll add to this,
if this is a taste, I'll say this: if this is a taste of what Gulo lives every day, it's so refreshing to not. You get to do anything other than worry about how screwed up everyone else's security is. It's nice.
I'll let Gulo go and then I'll talk.
So, how long before you get hacked, Silk? How long before your channel is taken down?
Yeah.
Oh, so I would throw it out this way: is like many things in the security industry, I'm not a target, and that's not. There's no money to be made off my.
You
channel.
are now.
Like yeah, just because I get to say it now. But I mean, like you're not. I'm not big enough. There's no money to be made. Like hijack the channel. Congratulations, you get 9 people who are watching the channel right now to do your crypto bro channel on. Like it's not enough to make money off of. So I don't feel like I'm necessarily that target there. The one thing I will laugh at is with this channel and my other one, I get like pretty like probably once every 2 weeks, I get somebody who goes, "We want to sponsor your channel," and I go, "Ooh, that sounds great." And then I look at it and it's like a crypto bro NFT like sham. Yeah. And part of me goes, can you like two pieces of me go, one, I should just do this and then I probably won't get paid for it. But one of them I kind of want to go, I will do it, but I don't want cash. I want you to pay me up front in NFTs. And just see how many NFTs I can get of some shit like coin over there. Like I'm thrilled about this. I think I should embrace it.
This is a beautiful idea.
I'll hand it to Gator, and I'll say this: I actually think if someone hacked the Hacker Hangouts channel, it would probably turn it into an even bigger channel. Go ahead, Gator.
I was gonna say, you know what? I love this idea, Silk. And so yes, we absolutely have our sponsor of Garbage VPN. Thanks to Brandon. But with that,
Raiden.
I want to see this, and I want to see our sponsor page, Silk, to where it's got the NFTs. So then we know how much money is in each one of these NFTs and how much they're worth. So we know how much sponsorship that we have for each one of these people who have reached out to. I think this is a great branding idea.
I think
We
it would
need to make
actually
sure
be
to put.
If we're going to do the
Gulo.
NFT route, shouldn't we be generating like our own NFTs to put in there that are kind of like the hot swap
All right.
where the link changes and the images change?
All right, this is the project for 2023. Hacker Hangouts launches its own shitcoin. We're doing it.
I just have to laugh. Like we're the spot. I think the coolest one I probably got and I never pursued was like it was an online pen test. It was like when in the heyday of my main channel, we'll say, when it was when I was pushing a lot of content out, where they wanted it was like a pen test reporting solution, but it was like what's the most I could get, and then I don't really want to be that person who's like has a small channel and be like, and this video is sponsored by this reporting. I don't have to make my voice nasally to be able to do that voice, but like this, it just feels. I don't think it's like a sellout thing. It just like. My videos aren't that long, and it feels weird doing a 30-second clip of like, go buy this weird thing.
Look, I'm still stuck on the crypto thing and us making our own shitcoin. Like we need to. Didn't we talk about doing a proof of ponage shitcoin at some point, something like that?
I actually, that was my idea. It actually
Yeah.
kind of I saw a couple places which did it, not necessarily implemented the way I would have, but pretty close. But yeah, they generate cryptocurrencies based off of the release of CVEs, which is effectively like there. Like I actually think legitimately the idea has merit, just because it'd be really like you could generate value off of how wide an exploit get, and then how you could actually mint it off of the protection, and people could buy the protection. There is actually a market, I think, for this, as goofy as that sounds.
All right.
So
He's a crypto
okay,
pro. We got to put him out of his misery.
I still have
ahead.
all the toilet seats for the hacking the toilet thing. So should this be something where we install like miners on toilet seats and actually develop shitcoins that play music?
No, if you pwn it, it mints an NFT for you.
I mean,
It actually
It's a
was that
literal
entire-
shitcoin.
Oh my gosh, unbelievable! And with that, I
Look-
have only
Look
one
forward
question.
to DEF CON.
Oh gosh. Gator, what do you got for us?
I think there are still a few back end projects that we had planned, but we haven't talked about all the time yet because they were halfway. Hey, we're about to. Oh, let's do this, and yeah, I'm looking forward to one where you can go through and talk about are we moving forward with those projects, to sharing out with other folks as well. Much like what the coins that you guys were talking about, and hey, I own a house now. I can start participating in some of those other things versus where I was renting. I'm looking forward
That's
to
true.
it.
All right, we've been doing this stream for I don't even know. I before the stream I had this like beautiful idea. Like I'm gonna. Has it been 3 years? I saw Gator throw out 3 years. Wow. It has been a lot of episodes between two channels, with the main channel now, and everything getting like generated into a podcast, which is really cool. It's on like Spotify now as a video podcast. It's now on YouTube Music as a video podcast, which I think is really cool. It's like I don't know. It has been a blast. So as a closing question, in your perfect world, where on your dream board covered on unicorns, sparkles, and glitter, Gator, where do you see us a year from now?
Jumping online, sharing with each other what we're going through and doing in our lives and different projects that we're passionate about, man. So I'll be here. And yeah, I mean,
Right.
you have to make sure to still continue to love your hacker family. You know what I'm saying?
Gower?
Number one, we're going to have generated our own shitcoin. Number two, we're finally going to get the Hack a Smart toilet off the ground. Number three, we're going to integrate the shitcoin into the Hack the toilet. And then we're going to run the event for charity and call it Pwn for Crohn's.
My gosh. Gulo?
I see us as a hostile takeover of Antarctica. We need our own like continent. Let's go.
If you have been tuning in for as long as you have, for people who have joined the Discord, so much love. Thank you for the encouragement. I always appreciate when we have to miss a week for any number of reasons that someone drops saying, hey, what happened? When are you coming back? Like, that is just like very much appreciate you all. Thank you for watching as much as you have, and hack on.